फौरन वो रैना को ले आया। समझ पाए वो कि स्लो बॉलर ही काम आएंगे इस पिच पर?
बहुत स्लो बॉलर का बहुत अहम रोल है भारतीय टीम में, और दोनों मैं समझता हूं कि बिल्ली है ना जडेजा में, वो उसको नहीं पड़ी अभी तक।
वो कहाँ है बेटी? यही तो प्रॉब्लम। आदमी का तारीफ कर करके तू बोला अच्छा है, तुम्हारा जुआ
देखिए उसने हमें क्या दिखाया, अपने आप नहीं दिखाया। तो ये देखिए ये है खुदा को जुटला रहा है।
अच्छा बेशन जी एक बात, आप यू आर डूइंग इंजस्टिस, यू आर सच इंजस्टिस बाय सेइंग दिस कि इसका टैलेंट है और जो बाहर बैठे हैं उनका टैलेंट नहीं है। बाहर बैठे वालों को तो आपने टेस्ट ही नहीं किया,
उनको खिला लिया है।
किनको खिलाया?
अक्षर पटेल खेला
कहाँ पे?
इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं किया
एक मैच के
घर में थोड़ी, घर में तो
एक मैच के लिए आप उसको टांग दिया या 5 मैच खेला।
अगर आप कुल यूनिट की बात कर रहे हैं, अगर हम यूनिट की बात कर रहे हैं तो सिवाय अश्विन के कोई ऐसा बॉलर नहीं लग रहा कि जो विकेट टेकिंग एक एबिलिटी हो। जिस
वेरी करेक्ट।
ये सिर्फ एक चिंता का विषय है कि अगर आप मीडियम पेसर में भी देखें, आज जिस तरीके से परफॉर्म हुआ तो ऐसा नहीं लगा कि हाँ ये पीछे इतना अच्छा करके आए हैं मीडियम पेसर्स हमारे, मगर जो अश्विन इंप्रूव किया है वो एक काबिले तारीफ है, क्योंकि हर मैच में उसमें एक और कॉन्फिडेंस आता है।
अश्विन वेरिएशन स्पीड सबके साथ
अश्विन ने बॉल को थोड़ा हवा दी, थोड़ा स्लो भी, फ्लैट बॉलिंग नहीं की और बॉल को स्पिन कराने की कोशिश की। ये बहुत जरूरी बात है, क्योंकि हमने पहले देखा वो बहुत
स्पीड में
स्पीड में और फ्लैट बॉलिंग करते बिल्कुल।
और पाजी पहले वो रॉन्ग वन ज्यादा करता था। नहीं उसमें मैं बता दूं, टांग पकड़ के बॉल
कैरम बॉल जो चलाकियां ज्यादा कर रहा।
हाँ
अब एक स्टॉक बॉल
बेसिक पे आया।
नहीं देखिए वो इफेक्टिव क्यों हुआ कैरम बॉल उसका, पहले वो तेज गेंद करता था और
सुन लेते हैं कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी इस वक्त मीडिया के सामने।
Motivated game. Can you share with us? Devuta is back? No. No. He is supposed to back on 16. Okay. It's important to back players, and we try to do it to the extent we can. And I felt, though he had a tough series, still I felt, we had put in a lot of effort in him. And not to forget, without his contribution, it would have been very difficult to win the Champions Trophy. So we always believed in him. But that final step, that needs to be taken from the individual. And I felt he prepared well for these ODIs. And it obviously takes time. But as I have always said, it's those 15 minutes that really changes everything. And I'm glad he got those 15 minutes. And what he's doing well is in making the most out of it, because as an opener, you may go through tough periods where you may not score runs, you may get good deliveries. But it's very important to think about the process, wherever your limitations are, you keep improving on those areas. And whatever your strength is, you make sure that, whenever it is in that particular area, you make the most out of it, but getting a boundary. But overall, what difference I have seen in his batting is once he gets a start, he makes a good, you can say, he takes that as an opportunity to convert that start into big innings. And right from the first game, that's what he has done. He's not someone who's happy getting a 50. He knows that we need to, the team needs him to score big runs. So once he gets to his 50, he eyes the next milestone, which is 100. And with him doing that, it becomes slightly easy for some of the other guys, to bat around him, because it takes that responsibility. And he's someone who can also accelerate at a decent pace. He uses the pace of the bowler and can bat aggressively. So, overall I'm quite happy with the way he has gone forward, because it's not that easy to come out of a phase where you have not scored a lot of runs. But at the same time, I think he prepared well and he kept believing in himself, because it's always the individual that starts to question that belief, because everybody believes in the individual, but at times you start questioning yourself. So I felt his preparation was good, and that's what really helped him score runs.
The last 5 in English, Anand was second, third, fourth one is Gautam Bhattacharya and
Umesh and Shami have given you a very good start so far in the series, but today that didn't quite happen, and you quite quickly changed plans. How important is it for yourself to be that flexible, and how do you see the bowlers responding to your change of plans?
Well, I think that's very crucial, because if this was a very important game for us, maybe I would have brought in the spinners close to the 4th over, because I felt from behind that there will be assistance, because when a few slower ones were bowled, it definitely got a bit of bounce, but what I mean, it just gripped onto the surface, and there was a bit of bounce for them. So if it was a very crucial game for us, spinners would have come on really early. But I wanted the fast bowlers to have a bit more go. Also, the fact that they have bowled well, so I thought maybe I can still use the new ball, get a few nicks, if possible. But it was coming on nicely to the bat, the new ball, even though the slower one was getting stuck a bit. So I said, I thought, let's go ahead with the fast bowlers for a bit more time and then bring on the spinners. And that's what I really did. The flexibility from the bowler side is also there. They quite understand, they don't question too much. It's not always that, when the bowler is not bowling well, I change the bowler. It's also about, maybe how the condition is right now. This bowler may do slightly more with the new ball. And according to that, I have my bowling changes planned. So they take it in the right stride, and that I feel is important, because at times you feel this is the time I can get a wicket, and as a bowler you may be disappointed. But what's really good is they take it as a plan, they take it as a strategy, and which helps them to always be positive. So it was one game where they went for runs, they did go for runs, but it was just stopping enough for the batsman to play the shot, but still the new ball was coming on. So good learning curve for them. Maybe if they play the next game, they'll do it slightly differently. But I think when we play in Auckland, the wicket will be very different. And as I said, this is the slowest New Zealand wicket that you will see. And all the other wickets will be quite similar to what we have played so far.
MS, you're playing with a lot of... sorry?
Let's say...
Yeah. Sorry. MS, your team's playing with a lot of confidence. You had a lot of momentum on your side. Obviously, the tour to Australia didn't go according to plan. What has changed that your team is just sort of on top of its game right now?
Well, we have been in those difficult situations before. They say experience counts, but it's not a very good one to have. It was quite similar to the 2011 experience. When we went to England, we didn't really win anything. But at the same time, what was important was, what you learn out of those series or tournaments or, tri-series. And I felt the boys absorbed really well. They knew what will be thrown at them. And also the break that we got in the middle, we made a conscious attempt as to take it as a break that divides the two series, the whole of Australia series and tri-series as one big tour, followed by a 10-day or 8-day break, and then we go into the World Cup. And also the presence of fans really helped. The moment you start thinking about, participating in the World Cup, the whole adrenaline, is up, and at the same time with so many people coming from India and starting with an India-Pakistan game, it was just fantastic. So that also, gives you that extra edge, that pushes you one step further. But ultimately the individuals will have to lift themselves up, because it was not an easy test series. Playing 4 test matches in a month's time is very draining. And not to forget, it's almost the same bunch of players that were playing the test matches. So, it was a challenge in itself, and I felt we came back strongly now, with the World Cup campaign, and hopefully we'll keep moving forward with the kind of momentum we have.
MS, you used about 4 spinners across 30-odd overs. In a sense, you were almost in experimentation mode. Do you feel that's when you're at your best as a captain?
No, I'm best when the bowlers are bowling well. It makes the job slightly easy for me, because you have a plan, but unless it's executed well, it can make you look like a good captain, but at the same time it may look as if, what is he doing? Because it all depends on the execution. You may have 2 slips, and if the bowler bowls on the pads, it doesn't really look good. And I feel that's where a remarkable difference has come from the bowlers' end. They are bowling according to the plans, and at the same time, they're quite aware of the field, and they're bowling according to the field, which is a big change. And also it's reflecting in our performance so far. So I feel, it was not much of an experiment. It was more about, adapting to the condition. I saw it was slightly slower wicket, so I used that extra part-time spinner that we have. And Suresh, whenever he has got a bit of assistant, he has proved himself to be like a proper bowler. So it was good also. He also, got a game, proper bowling spell of 10 overs. So I felt, it's not experimenting. It's more about, using the resources that we have.
MS, 2 questions. One is equaling Clive Lloyd for the maximum number of consecutive victories, which is 9 in World Cup matches.
And two, you have talked about several reasons for this tremendous transformation. MS Dhoni, the captain, after giving up the Test captaincy, are you also refreshed in your mind? Are you stronger? Are you better even as a one-day captain?
No. I'm just the same, the things that have changed is the result, Apart from that, the players are the same. So I don't think that's has anything to do with the Test captainship. But as I said, what the bowlers are doing is something that's I have not seen for a long time, particularly with the Indian team setup. And, we used to keep telling them, bowl to one line, bowl one length, and that creates pressure and all of that. But it was more like a said thing that was listened by them. But now they have seen it and they have tasted it. So hopefully, even after the World Cup campaign, once we go back, play all different teams for IPL and all, when we come back for the Test series or when we are again coming back and playing outside the subcontinent, they still have this memory in their head that, outside the subcontinent, a lot of times you have to stick to good line and lengths, and that's something that really rewards you. And that will definitely change a lot of things for us, a lot of trouble that we have been having, that will be sorted. So hopefully, it's something that we are thinking, hopefully, they will retain all the things that have been, given to them or how they have learned it. And as far as the records and the milestones are concerned, the most important thing is, winning the game for your country. It doesn't really matter, what the milestone is. Definitely it's something that every player will be proud of. The last World Cup, all the team members, thanks to them, and the current team also, because it's a team effort at the end.
सुना आपने कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी जो कह रहे हैं जीत से वो बेहद खुश हैं, आगे और मैचेस जीतना चाहते हैं और बहुत ही खास बात ये कि अपने गेंदबाजों की जमकर पीठ थपथपाई कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी ने। शिखर धवन के प्रदर्शन को लेकर कहा कि जब एक बार जम जाते हैं शिखर धवन तो फिर बड़ी पारी खेलते हैं। शिखर पर मुझे पूरा भरोसा था, शिखर पूरी तैयारी के साथ मैदान में उतरे थे, पिच पर जम गए तो शिखर ने अच्छी पारी खेली, हमारे गेंदबाजों ने अच्छी गेंदबाजी की। इस प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी की तरफ से जो बातें कही गई वही हम आपको बता रहे हैं। मैं अच्छा कप्तान तब हूं जब गेंदबाज अच्छा प्रदर्शन करें। तो कुल मिलाकर अपने गेंदबाजों की जमकर पीठ थपथपाई है महेंद्र सिंह धोनी ने। भारत की गेंदबाजी अब तक की सर्वश्रेष्ठ गेंदबाजी, यहां तक कहा महेंद्र सिंह धोनी ने। आगे विश्व कप में बातचीत को बढ़ाएंगे, लेकिन पहले इस वक्त की सुर्खियों पर नजर डालते हैं। एबीपी न्यूज का खास शो विश्व विजेता देख रहे हैं आप, और वर्ल्ड कप में टीम इंडिया का जीत का सफर बरकरार है। टीम इंडिया ने आज लगाया है जीत का पंच आयरलैंड के खिलाफ। इस मैच से जुड़ी बड़ी बातों के लिए आइए सीधे न्यूज रूम चलते हैं ज्योति के पास।
शुक्रिया रुमाना। टीम इंडिया ने जीत का बड़ा पंच लगाया है। क्या है बड़ी बात? भारत की विश्व कप में लगातार ये 5वीं जीत है, 5 मैच और लगातार 5वीं जीत। भारत अपने ग्रुप में लगातार नंबर 1 पर बना हुआ है। ये भारतीय टीम के लिए सबसे बड़ी उपलब्धि है। पहली बार भारत की ओपनिंग जोड़ी चली है और ओपनिंग जोड़ी भी ऐसी चली कि बड़ी साझेदारी की बदौलत शिखर और रोहित शर्मा ने जोड़े कुल 174 रन। ये बड़ी साझेदारी है। शिखर धवन बने मैन ऑफ द मैच। गब्बर चला है आज, और गब्बर जब चला तो उनकी आंधी में आयरलैंड जो थी वो कहीं भी दिखती हुई दिखाई नहीं दे रही थी। शमी ने 3 विकेट हासिल किए। शमी का लगातार अच्छा प्रदर्शन जारी है और इस बार 3 विकेट। आर अश्विन भी एक पहेली बना हुआ है। सभी टीमों के लिए 2 विकेट आर अश्विन ने हासिल किए। बड़ी जीत भारतीय टीम की वर्ल्ड कप में। धोनी विश्व कप में भारत के सबसे सफल कप्तान है। लगातार 5वीं जीत इस वर्ल्ड कप की है और पिछले वर्ल्ड कप के लिहाज से अगर देखा जाए तो ये कप्तान के तौर पर लगातार 9वीं जीत है। 9वीं जीत है जो सौरव गांगुली का 8 जीत का रिकॉर्ड था, उसे भी महेंद्र सिंह धोनी ने तोड़ा है। तो जीत की आंधी में आयरलैंड की टीम तो उड़ गई। अब आने वाले मैचों में भी क्या यही सिलसिला बरकरार रहेगा? सीधे चलते रोमाना के पास, रोमाना के साथ है क्रिकेट एक्सपर्ट्स।
जी, तो भारत की जीत से जुड़ी ये बड़ी बातें आपने देखी और सबसे कमाल की बात ये रही कि टीम इंडिया की सलामी बल्लेबाजी आज पूरे रंग में नजर आई है। 174 रन की साझेदारी आज सलामी बल्लेबाजों में हुई है। वहीं अगर पिछले मुकाबलों की बात की जाए तो पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ महज 34 रन की साझेदारी हुई थी, दक्षिण अफ्रीका के खिलाफ 9 रन, यूएई के खिलाफ 29 रन, वेस्टइंडीज के खिलाफ 11 रन, लेकिन आज आयरलैंड के खिलाफ सलामी बल्लेबाजों के बीच जो साझेदारी हुई है वो 174 रन की। गेंदबाजों को लेकर लगातार ये कहा जाता रहा कि देखिए कमजोर कड़ी है गेंदबाज, लेकिन जो आपकी मजबूत कड़ी बल्लेबाज हैं, अगर वहां पर दिक्कत आने लगे तो यकीनन परेशानी का सबब कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी के लिए था। लेकिन आज जब सलामी जोड़ी ने 174 रन की साझेदारी की, शिखर धवन ने शतकीय पारी खेली, तो कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी बेहद खुश हैं। क्या कहा कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी ने, ये भी हम आपको बता रहे हैं। महेंद्र सिंह धोनी की तरफ से कहा गया, शिखर पर मुझे पूरा भरोसा था। शिखर पूरी तैयारी के साथ मैदान पर उतरे थे, पिच पर जम गए शिखर, तो फिर अच्छी पारी खेली शिखर धवन ने। हमारे गेंदबाजों ने अच्छी गेंदबाजी की, गेंदबाजों की जमकर पीठ थपथपाई कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी ने। मैं अच्छा कप्तान तब हूं जब गेंदबाज अच्छा प्रदर्शन करें। भारत की गेंदबाजी अब तक की सर्वश्रेष्ठ गेंदबाजी, ये तमाम बातें जो जीत के बाद कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी ने साझा की। लेकिन सबसे अहम, जैसा कि हम लगातार आपको कह रहे हैं कि ओपनिंग बल्लेबाजी दिक्कत बनी हुई थी और आज वो समस्या हल। विशन बेदी जी, बड़ी समस्या कप्तान महेंद्र सिंह धोनी की आज जिसका हल मिल गया उनको।